Off the Leash is off and running week 13. In the books for the Cleveland Browns, Mark Schwab, Leah, Doherty, Ashley Holder with you for the big share. The big program.
There it is.
Start true, false. We do it every week. This is too easy of a question, but I already committed because I told you what I was going to do.
And it's what everybody's talking about, too. I think it's a good one.
So despite some inaccuracies, despite an interception, Joe Flacco should start next week even if DTR is healthy.
I would say true. I think he looked really solid. I think a lot of people, I don't know, I guess maybe mixed reviews, but I feel like a lot of people thought he was going to go out there and play really poorly. And I didn't think that. I was excited to see what he could do. And considering the fact that he hadn't played in almost a year, I thought he looked great. I thought he could throw the deep ball, was making some good passes. Besides kind of things falling apart in the fourth quarter, right? You have the interception and then they had back-to-back sacks and then things kind of fell off. I mean, he put them in a position to win that game. And I think that's really all you could ask for. The defense didn't necessarily uphold their part, but I don't know. I think he played fine, fair.
Yeah, and I also think he's not a magician, like you said.
Yeah.
I mean, he went in there, he played good, and even when he got the back-to-back sacks, they were already down 2 scores at that point.
It was already done at that
exactly.
point.
So I'm not canceling them out, but I'm almost canceling them out. And he didn't throw a pick until the end of the game. Don't forget the receivers had hella drop passes once again. So you have to put that in perspective as well. I think Joe Flacco played phenomenal, and I think he's the best quarterback we've seen for the Browns this entire season. So like he's been way better than PJ, DTR, and Deshaun. And that's just a fact.
I think the only reason you maybe would look at DTR over Flacco would be his legs. And that would probably be the only advantage I would think he would have over Flacco. But I don't know.
I think his arm too.
You think DTR's arm is better?
No, I think Flacco's arm is better.
I think that's the only advantage DTR might have over Flacco is his legs. That's it.
That's the only thing. Yeah, I mean, they looked, I would say true, they looked like an NFL offense, right? It wasn't...
Well, not the drop passes.
No, but I mean, like, you're seeing them go down the field and take deep shots and things like that, where they didn't do any of that the first week with DTR. They opened it up a little more in Denver, but it was still very close to the line and everything. They looked like they ran an actual offense.
Yeah.
And that's, I don't know, maybe in 3 weeks, he's terrible again, and he's throwing 3 picks, and we're having this conversation. But right now, go back to that. I want to see more of that. Maybe he knocks some rust off, and some of those deep balls weren't close. All right, he might find his way there. He might not, but he might. He might dial it back in. And then you're going to see some things that, we haven't seen this. And Ash, I mean, you were right. We saw Watson have 2 good. We saw the Titans game was good, and then we saw a big drive, against Baltimore. But he wasn't amazing either. This was good.
And if you're going to do a deep ball, your only option is Deshaun or him. You're not really wanting DTR or PJ to throw a deep ball at this point.
So, I mean, if you can unlock that part of the offense, now whether or not they catch it, that's a separate conversation.
Not as Flacco,
you can't put everything on Flacco.
Right.
You really can't.
You really can't. He's 23 of 44, 254 yards, 2 touchdowns, the pick. And, I mean, you see what the players were talking about and the coaches were talking about. Was it Cooper? Said when he throws it, it's like poetry in motion. Yeah. I mean, he throws it. The guy's 38. He still has a great arm.
Still slinging it.
He looks like a baseball player with a great swing. You're like, oh, that's just a beautiful motion. That's the way he looks throwing a football.
And it's not even the age thing, too. It's the fact that he hadn't played in almost a year, too, and was still able to go out and do that. I mean, I thought he looked really good. You can tell the offense is a lot more limited, and they're playing it safer when you have DTR in there, right? And I feel like they have a lot more options and can open it up and really drive down the field like you had mentioned, and have a little bit more room to play with things when you have a guy like Joe Flacco who gives you options for the deep ball, but then you also can go to your run game. They were going to tight ends a little bit more yesterday too. They were getting like Brian involved a little bit in Njoku, but then he had drops as well.
On 4th down. Why are we going to him on 4th down?
Yeah, Ashley and I were like, I'm
not a coach, but gosh darn it.
TV. We're like, 4th down, and that's who you're going to?
Njoku is going to be one of my last options to go to, and that's just a fact.
Yeah, he's not caught the ball lately
on 4th down. No, absolutely not.
And I get you're thinking maybe they're going to go to like Elijah Moore.
Yeah.
And
they went to him a lot, by the way.
But you see that connection they had previously when they played at the Jets.
So the Rams are probably thinking 4th down, they're going to go to him, so let's not go to him. But yeah, I didn't like.
Sometimes you just got to go to who's open. But I mean, is this what Elijah Moore has been waiting for all year? And I don't mean specifically for Flacco to arrive, but maybe this is what gets him going.
Totally.
Because this dude was all hype in camp, and we've not seen
anything.
We haven't seen
I think so.
This was the most we've seen from him.
12 targets, only caught 4 of them because that's the other end of the bargain. He hasn't caught many of them that have thrown him. Some of them have been absolutely terrible passes, but maybe we get to see the Elijah Moore that everybody was talking about.
Yeah, I mean, you have to, especially if Amari Cooper ends up being in the concussion protocol and he's out possibly for this weekend coming up. So at this point, they need everybody to step up. It really doesn't matter who it is, because there's nobody that's just emerging that's like, man, this is the star of the team. I mean, you can put Miles in that because he's Miles Garrett, but
he's already that player.
Exactly. Like, this team is like not just it's anybody's game any day.
What you haven't seen is the guy, whether it is Moore or Harrison Bryant, or I want to talk about Pierre Strong in a little bit, somebody like that. We haven't seen that guy say, that's a guy. No. That's a guy now. That's like in basketball when a team goes down, a scorer goes down and somebody comes up and all of a sudden this guy's getting you 15, 18 a game and you're like, okay, we can go to that guy. We have not seen that guy in the passing game, the running game. I don't count Ford there yet. Kareem Hunt is fun. He's been okay, not great. We haven't seen anyone be a guy other than Cooper, who was already a guy. We need somebody else.
But that's exactly where you can separate basketball from football, because football is truly a team sport. Everything has to run together and go together as a well-oiled machine in order for that to happen, right? Like, Kareem can want to go off, right, and say, I'm going to pummel through him. But if the O-line is not blocking for him or something's breaking down, he's not going to go anywhere. So it really has to all sync.
You still have some of those studs, though, like on certain teams, like certain receivers that you could go to kind of no matter what, or like a Tyreek Hill or whatever. Like, everybody else needs to be doing.
You got to have someone get it to him, though.
Yeah, but look how many times, like Amari had been targeted. Like, you just kind of have to have, we don't have that guy that where, just kind of stands out head and shoulders above everybody else. Everybody's got to do their part, too. But I feel like we don't have that guy that you can always rely on that is going to go out there and make a play. And that's a problem.
You guys think we should see more Pierre Strong? Or am I just making too much out of 2 carries and 20 yards?
I think we could see more out of everybody. I don't know.
Yeah, he is, at this point, I don't even think it matters.
He has speed. He always had that coming out of the draft, and he's got some explosive. There's not many explosive players on this offense.
He has to
give him the ball a little more.
Can
we see something? Just maybe. I don't know.
Well, I think a lot of that wasn't working for them against the Rams.
Ran the ball for
2 carries, 20 yards.
Both of them, because both teams only had about 20-something apiece.
20-something what?
So wasn't it 20-something yards apiece?
On the ground?
I saw they ran the ball for 87
The Browns had
yards.
87.
Oh, okay. I'm looking at something else.
87, and then the Rams had 120.
Let me see what I'm looking at then.
But they didn't have a lot. Kareem got 12 for 48. Jerome, 9 of 19. He wasn't good. He caught the pass for a touchdown, but he just, nah. I don't know. I wouldn't mind seeing him pretty strong.
I'm looking at the carries. My bad.
Okay.
That's
they didn't run it a ton, but so I don't know. And defensively, let's flip to the other side of the ball, because obviously there were a lot of problems there. If that's Myles Garrett for the rest of the year, they're done. That should have been the true false. By the way, if that's who Myles Garrett is the rest of the year because of his shoulder, they're done.
Well,
that was ridiculous.
On Myles.
No, but here's this is the follow up. By the way, is where in the world was Zadarius Smith?
Yeah,
1 tackle. I think Pierre Strong had as many tackles as he did.
Mm-hmm. And I think I read something. They had I want to say 1 tackle for loss
as a whole team. That might be right. They didn't have.
Yeah, they had correct. 1 tackle for loss and 2 passes defended.
That is not.
They gave up 279. But I also did see, too, not paying attention to this. And I want to say this was on the tailgate when they said that at home they're only giving up 10 points, but on the road they're giving up 29.
Do not play good on the road.
You cannot put them in you cannot put a struggling offense already in a position to have to play catch up consistently. Of course, another team might score or whatever. That's the game. But this is a struggling offense, struggling. So if you're putting hope on that, then you're gonna have a rough time.
How weird is it?
And I also don't know what they was doing for 9 days in LA. So
he can do a lot in 9 days in LA.
Yeah, I feel like they probably had a good time.
We were talking about this on Tailgate because it's defense normally travels, right? You can go to a place that's hard to play and you bring a pass rush defense with good secondary, they'll keep you in that game. Except this one, it doesn't travel. It's weird. It's a home road split that's pretty straightforward. They're not good on the road. And I know today and in Denver, they're pretty banged up, and that certainly does account for things. You don't have Ward, and Myles Garrett is not Myles Garrett. Well, that's going to impact any defense. But we're talking about more than just 2 games. For some reason, the defense doesn't. I don't get that. I don't remember ever seeing that in the NFL.
I don't even know what I would attribute that to. I mean, Myles Garrett banged up, whatever. You're missing some guys on the defense, but aside from that, I don't know what
That's the last 9 days.
Right? No, exactly. Right. Well, but I mean, they've lost these last 2 games, so I don't know what I would attribute it to. Is it because I have no idea. I don't know why. Myles Garrett did have some sound post game against the Rams.
Let's hear from Myles.
Just kind of talking about the state of the locker room right now.
We just have to make plays on the stretch. There were some drives where they went down the field and put points on the board, and we have to be able to keep the momentum going and get some stops so we keep on feeding it back and forth to each other. Push it behind you, and everyone loses, but it's a matter of how you react to those losses. You keep your head up, you stay mature. You look around to those beside you and pull them with you. Be a leader. Doesn't take someone who's been here for 5 years, 10 years. As long as you're on this team, you can help lead and pull us in the right direction. And I'm gonna be amongst those guys. No one asked for the situation that we're in, but we're in it. Can't complain, can't moan about it. Just gotta go out there and put in the work and find a way to win. Don't find an excuse. We didn't take care of business like we were supposed to. So, we've got to start from square one.
All right. So Myles saying kind of what you'd expect. By the way, what did you think of the fit? The double-breasted
suit?
We
were talking, I don't know. It wasn't my favorite look
or is that the, I'm sorry, the drip is what I should call that, right?
Wow, Mark.
Thank you.
I was more stuck on Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. His outfit was crazy.
I didn't see
he
it.
He always has cool
He showed
outfits,
love to the sailors and things like that. And it was a story behind it, and I don't want to act like I know what it is, but it was something with sailors. I want to say some Africans or something like that. I don't know. He always put something together, and it was fire. But all his stuff always has a meaning behind it. That's what I like about it. Like, it always represents something.
Yeah, I don't think Myles was that deep, but I just didn't I didn't like it.
You didn't like the double-breasted suit with the turtleneck?
But that's the least of our problems,
It really is,
Mark.
but that's kind of where the game was at. We're like, oh my goodness. But I mean, look, he's going to say all the things you expect Myles to say. They're going to take ownership of it. They're going to get to work. They're going to do this. They're going to do that. At the end of the day, they need their guys.
Yeah.
They need Ward. They need him healthy. And
was there any update on Ward? Do we have any idea when he might be back?
I mean, Kevin Stefanski is
we probably won't hear anything until Wednesday.
Tight-lipped as possible.
That's usually how it goes.
So
Mondays are almost literally pointless because he tells us nothing.
Kind of, yeah. I mean, he talked about the Posick thing a little bit. He talked about, I think, after the game, and he talked about it again on the Monday Zoom. And he normally does not get into like specifics with much. So I guess I was surprised how ticked off he seemed.
Let's hear it.
I'll get more clarification this week on that. Like I mentioned to you guys, we're not in any way trying to move the ball to gain an advantage there. I understand the officials have a very difficult job because there is a heightened awareness of that play in short yardage where the league really does not want the centers to gain an undue advantage. It's unfortunate. I don't know that the movement of that ball was much different than what Ethan does on a lot of those snaps. So I'll talk to the league about it. Again, disappointing, frustrating, but we'll just play within the rules and whatever they are.
I feel like that was kind of just a weird call. I mean,
it is, like, to your point, that is more than Stefanski normally says on some stuff. Like, normally I feel like he'd say, we'll talk to the league and see what happens.
Right. As with everything, we'll review. We'll ask for the league.
Well, no one wants to say anything. They don't want to get fined.
How many questions does he answer with, as with everything?
Yep.
And then fill in the blank.
Yeah, he always says, we'll look at the film. I'm sick of that.
You came to the wrong
we'll take a look at the film.
Add it to next man up. We'll look at the film.
Look at the film.
Yeah.
Next man up.
Always
and then we'll make our decisions on Wednesday. Dude, you already know what you're doing.
They do.
Or options. We'll see what our options are.
Yeah.
See what our options. We'll look at the film. This, that, and the other. So the Browns got the Jaguars Sunday. It is Jaguars, not Jaguars. And
is it according to who? Just you?
According to the English language.
I feel like I say Jaguars.
Then you would be wrong.
Ashley, what do you say? Jaguars?
I say both. I say Jaguars.
I say Jaguars.
I've said both.
Or you can be British and say Jaguar.
You say, how do you say it?
I say Jaguar.
Jaguar.
It's G.
Is there a W in there? Jaguar?
The U stands Jaguar. Or you can be British and say Jaguar. How they pronounce the car.
Is that British?
Yes, because the car.
I know the car, but I was just wondering, is it? I don't know what it is.
The fancy people over there call it Jaguar.
Have you ever been over there?
It's on my bucket list, but I won't get there.
So you're assuming that that's what they do.
He's probably seen videos.
Well, believe it or not.
No, I want to know if you have firsthand experience with this.
We have this thing called the internet, and you can dial up video.
I know you're not talking about the internet. You didn't even know about literally being able to deposit a check.
I knew about it.
No, I don't
just
think
didn't
so.
do it.
Guys, I didn't know you could mute a website until today, so I appreciate it, Mark. We're all learning. We're all listening and learning. I appreciate it, Mark.
Life is just a journey of knowledge.
Exactly.
So the Jaguars on deck. They have to get past the Bengals on the Monday Nighter. We are taping this in front of that, so we don't know how it turns out. If Lawrence and Etienne get hurt in the football game, we won't know.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they should win that because I just don't think the Bengals
is that
are
on
dead.
the road or home for them?
That's in Jacksonville.
Okay, that should be good for them.
Yeah, I don't think I don't know if the Bengals win again the rest of the year. That's just me. Maybe once. But look, they're another one of those teams. I mean, they're in this playoff hunt. They're talking division. They're talking wild card. They got some good players. They're surging. That's another team the Browns need to try to find a way to beat. We shall see what they do.
If history tells us anything, the defense is hopefully going to play great at home, so that's going to help. And I like Flacco. Like, if you start Flacco, this team, I say it every single week, I think they could win or lose every single game just because they had a bad loss on Sunday. I think they have a shot. Like, I'm not going to count them out of any game, but if the defense plays well at home, which statistically they should.
It's supposed to.
And Flacco, saw a lot of promise from him. I don't know.
I mean, theoretically, they still have, and they even said on the broadcast, they still have a very easy schedule in front of them.
They do.
Totally.
Essentially, they really do. They have a pretty easy schedule. If you just beat the Bears, the Jets, and the Bengals, which are
Very
not
beatable
good,
teams.
that are not, they're not good
Totally.
teams. You're already going to bring yourself to at least 10 wins. So you know what I'm saying? Like, granted, you want to get more, but you have to make sure you get those because Jaguars and Texans are so up in the air, and Texans are just doing so well right now that I don't know if I can give that to them on Christmas Eve, and I don't know who CJ Stroud might be playing for that day. His daddy might be watching, and he might go for 500. I really don't know. I wouldn't count him out.
They don't have Tank Dell, but yeah, he could throw for. He's
but
amazing.
I don't think that's their end all be all is him.
No. But I mean, I just meant he lost a weapon, but I don't know if it'll matter with him. Around the division, we Pickett out for the Steelers.
Like a couple weeks at least with surgery on his ankle.
He's so bad.
I don't think this changes the division because at this point I think the division is Baltimore's to lose. But obviously this could impact the wild card because now they go to Mitch Trubisky. I know Menor, I know you love him, but he has not really been an effective NFL quarterback. And it feels like, as much as I don't like Kenny Pickett, it does feel like this is a step back for an offense that did not need another step back.
Yeah.
They were already stepped back.
All right.
Now they
Take
are
another one
stepping
back.
back again.
Yeah, you're losing him.
Take another one back.
Because that game against the Browns was just awful.
How about that? They didn't just get beat, they got clobbered by the Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah.
Which is, that's tough.
Trey McBride emerging as one of the best young tight ends in the National Football League. Ladies, anything else?
Yeah, I do have something.
Yes,
I just
Ashley,
want to be
fantasy?
Yeah,
Yes,
I
okay,
got
yes.
one win.
Turn the music down.
Turn it down.
Don't put the
Now.
music. Don't put the music up on Ashley. She's got something to say.
Yeah, I just want to say that I thought I was gonna go straight defeated all year, and then I just realized I was sitting there. I was like, holy crap! I was like,
Ashley's terrible
Leah,
team.
I freaking won a game, and she
won
was
a
like,
game.
what? I was like, yeah, I won a freaking game. So I am now 1-11, and what made it even more sweeter is I beat my homeboy, that is the reporter for ESPN that covers the Texans, and I had to call him, and I was like, yo. Did you see? I got one win, and it was against you. He wasn't too happy
What's
about
his
it.
name?
DJ.
DJ?
Yeah, DJ.
Man, you got to do better than that. Lady's not even trying. She just dump trucked you.
Don't put the music on.
You're
Ashley,
not. You're good.
as someone who
awesome.
has gone 1-11 and experienced a lot of losses, what would your advice be to the Browns right now who are riding a 2-game losing streak.
All you have to do is keep pushing, man. You keep pushing, you keep believing. It's the next man up, and someone's going to step up for you, because if I have 5 guys on IR and out and I can win a game, you can do it.
And that's all that needs to be said right there. Hope you heard that, Brad.
Sage advice.
Team holder.
Team holder. That's going to do it for week 13 of Off the Leash. It's been real. It's been fun. It's even been real fun. I don't know why I wanted to say that. I just did. Bye.